Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. Oh, matron. Oh, I say. Sorry, I'm obsessed with Carry On right now. Welcome back to Big Mouth. Yes, welcome. So, Rose Tyler versus Yazz. I don't know her surname on the show. And before we get started, this isn't Mandip Gill versus Billy Piper. This is about these two characters. Why is it that for many viewers, Yazz simply doesn't work, but Rose did? Now, I know some people don't like Rose because of the romantic element that RTD put in between her and the Doctor. But we're not really focusing on that here today. We're focusing on why Rose actually does work on a character. Well, it's actually quite simple if you just see the very first episode she's in, aka titled Rose. Is very interested. We get a lot of character distinctions and we pretty much know what type of person she is. She has a boyfriend who takes her for granted. Check, we already know. She knows he takes her for granted. He has dodgy emails he doesn't want her to look at. So already we kind of get in a picture here. And when we first see her at work, now when I first saw her in a shop, I actually thought that was Harrods, but it's not. Basically, you can see from the look on her face, she's not really satisfied with her life. She's gagging for escapism. And you can see that from this character. She was brought up in a one-parent family. She was brought up by her mum, Jackie. And I want to talk about Jackie because she's very important to why Rose works. So she's in a council flat, in a council estate, very working class. And so is her mother. So already there's a relatability there because of all that. Now, if we look at Yazz, when we first meet her, she's not satisfied with her life. She wants to do more as a police officer, but she's pretty much a cadet or whatever you call them. And so she's not authorised to go for the real crimes yet, but she's begging her Sarge to get something more interesting. So I would say that by Chibnal, in the first episode, The Woman Who Falls to Earth, is actually quite a good character fleshing out, a little bit anyway, more than we got for the rest of the series. What happens after that? She becomes a background character because she's very different to Rose because she's in the TARDIS with two other friends or companions or whatever you want to call them. Now, the issue here is after that, we don't get much of her. In episode 2, when we first start off and when she's in that ship with the Doctor and the Doctor's ignoring her, that pretty much sums up what happens to Yazz. And it's funny that fans keep on having this imaginary kind of romance between the Doctor and Yazz, where they barely speak to each other. The Doctor barely knows that Yazz is alive. So maybe Yazz likes the Doctor, but I think after time the Doctor forgets about Yazz. So after the first episode, where they do give her this really good character trait of her not being satisfied at work, which is great, we don't really get very much else of her until we get to the arachnids in the UK, where we meet her family. The problem is we only meet her family in one episode, and Chris doesn't develop those characters so we can know what type of people they are. We know their dad can cook, and it looks like the mum's not a very good cook or whatever. The mum is a career woman. But apart from those staples, we know very little about that family or what makes them tick. Now, if we flip back to Rose, it's very interesting because already we've got Jackie flirting with the Doctor. You're a man and I've got a towel wrapped around me. Anything can happen. And the Doctor goes, nah. So already, there's some good comedy with Jackie, and she's great quality, and already we kind of like Jackie because she's already relatable, just like Rose is. And if you make Jackie relatable, and this is the genius of Russell T Davies, you make Rose a lot more relatable. But this is what's really interesting because we see Jackie again in World War III, the World War III two-part. I forgot what the first episode was called, but it's a two-part. We again see a lot of Jackie, but we also notice within that episode straight away that the Doctor's messed up and actually Rose has been away for quite a while and her boyfriend Mickey is accused of her murder. And it's Jackie, her mother, who spreads these rumours around. So already we're getting to know a lot more about Jackie, and we've only returned to seeing her for 5 minutes or a couple of minutes or whatever it is. So within this episode, Jackie's point of view is this older guy has taken her daughter away, and she slowly finds out that the doctor is an alien, and Jackie reacts in a very, very relatable way because she contacts the police, which isn't the best of decisions because of what happens, because that police guy is a Slovene, but she's not to know that. So pretty much she is a bit scared of the doctor, and she doesn't like the friendship at first. What happens within that series, again, we see her in the finale, and she says something. Actually, I'll go back first before she says that to Rose. She asks Doctor the question, is my daughter safe? Which she's not. And the doctor knows that. And she goes, why aren't you answering me? Because the doctor knows he can't keep Rose safe. But the doctor's lonely. He's befriended Rose. He likes Rose. He wants to be with Rose. And this is what I mean. The doctor is a very, very selfish person. And he always has been. Until he became the 13th Doctor. Because she's perfect. She's not selfish. She always apologises. That's not who the doctor is. Or should ever be. Now, if we go to the finale, right, of season 1 of the revival, when the Doctor tricks Rose and sends her back to Earth, modern day Earth, Jackie says a very interesting thing. She says, I've hated that man, but for once he's actually done something really, really good. He sent you back to me. And slowly, as we go through RTD's era and seasons, Jackie gains a respect and admiration and love for the Doctor, and he becomes part of the family. And why I'm talking a lot about Jackie is because she's very important to making Rose relatable. But a lot like Amy, one of the reasons Amy wasn't relatable to me, because I think we met her mum once or twice, and she barely said anything. We didn't get to know the parents, but what Russell actually did with Rose, he makes her mother relatable, which makes Rose relatable. Then we get to know her dead dad in Father's Day, and that's a beautiful episode. We got nothing like the fleshing out for basically we got to know Rose's world, which made her more relatable and more likable. But with Yazz, we get none of that, at least with Ryan, and he's not particularly well fleshed out, and neither is Graham, but at least we know about his grandmother, we know about his missing father. We know that he doesn't particularly like Graham at first, and he doesn't like Graham being with his grandmother. So we've got a lot more than we've got with Yazz. It still doesn't help. They're still not properly fleshed out. Maybe Chris Chibnal couldn't be bothered or doesn't know how to do that. I mean, that's something that people that know him may know. So already with Yazz, you get none of this beautiful stuff that you get with Rose. So by the end of season 1, and we know by the end of season 1, she's going to be there for the foreseeable. She sees the Doctor regenerate. And then when we get to the Christmas invasion, Jackie's back and she meets the new Doctor. And again, she's when she sees that the Doctor's got 2 hearts, is that the only thing he's got 2 of? Brilliant, brilliant. That's such a human thing to say. She's just this single woman and she's on one and she's brilliant. I love Jackie. And Camille Caudry as Jackie, one of the best performers we've ever seen on this show. And I think Russell himself didn't really do that with Martha's family. You had Martha's family there, but he didn't really delve into them as deeply as he did with Rose. And I suspect he already knew that Martha was only going to be around for a season, and that's why he didn't bother. But I actually really like Martha, and I don't want to get into Martha because we're comparing Rose. But I'm a fan of Martha Jones, by the way, and much better, leaps and bounds better than any of Chibnall's 3 companions. But so this is why, for me, this is my personal view and personal opinion. This is why Rose works. Rose works because Jackie works. And then you know Rose, you know her motivation, but you also know Jackie. Jackie has lost her husband. She's brought this girl up, and she's done the best job that she can possibly do. And Russell eloquates this and shows us this in a very fabulous way. And this is what makes him the fabulous writer he is. And this is, for me, why Rose works and Yazz doesn't. there's really very little fleshing out the character. A lot of people have called Chibnal out for not really doing much with her. So then we get into a deeper thing with Chris Chibnal before I finish this video off. He wants to look like this woke showrunner who's cast a female doctor, but ultimately his female doctor mostly takes a back seat to Graham. We hear all this talk about Jodie Whittaker talking about white men, but it is actually a white man that takes prominence in her first season, her first, historic season as a female doctor. It's about Graham, the white man, and it's about Ryan, his relationship with Graham, the white man. So, and the problem is, he's not as woke as he looks. There's actually a lot of sexism in his writing, because he's gone, right, here you are, here's your female doctor, but that's it. She's going to smile, she's going to make some odd expressions, she barely ever solves the problem, and the character we want you to focus on is Graham. And this is why I keep on saying Graham is actually more the doctor than the doctor. And this is why Paul Bradley Walsh had to come out and say, I'd never want to play the doctor, because people are pretty much saying what I'm saying. But it doesn't matter what Bradley says. Of course he'd love to play the doctor. And if you're going to make Bradley's character so prominent, why not cast him as the doctor? Because he wanted to make a woke statement. And he didn't really back that statement up by giving this doctor fleshing out or anything interesting to do or any interesting character traits. So actually, Chris Chibnal has shown that actually he is not woke at all. So let me know what you think. What do you think of Rose and Yazz? Do you think Yazz is a better character? Do you think I'm wrong about Jackie and the differences with what Chibnal did in one episode with Yazz's mother and father and family? I think in one episode you could have made that family more relatable, which would have made Yazz more relatable. Please like the video, share the video, and we will speak again next time.